All right, let's dive right in, shall we? Today we're heading down to the Ozarks.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, to explore this 0.28-acre lot for sale in Crestwood, Arkansas.
Okay.
We'll be using the details from onlinelandsales.com to, really break it down.
Sounds good.
Now, I know what you might be thinking.
What's that?
0.28 acres, is that
Yeah.
really enough to get excited about?
Yeah, that's pretty small.
Right. But stick with us, because this little piece of land,
Okay.
it's got some serious potential, especially if you love the outdoors.
I'm intrigued.
I knew you would be.
So tell me more about this location.
Well, this lot is nestled in Boone County, Arkansas,
Okay.
and it's just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Bull Shoals Lake.
Oh, wow. That's a beautiful area.
It is. Imagine waking up
Yeah.
to those lake views every morning.
That's the dream.
Right. And
Oh, yeah.
spending your weekends fishing, boating, or just soaking in the tranquility of nature.
Sounds idyllic.
Absolutely. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty details here.
Okay, let's do it.
The listing tells us this lot is located in Crestwood, which is near Diamond City.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who like to scout things out virtually, they've even provided the GPS coordinates.
Oh, that's handy.
It is, right? Now, the lot itself is accessible by a dirt road.
Okay.
It's zoned for residential use.
Gotcha.
And it boasts that, and I quote, serene and picturesque quality.
Well, they got that part right, for sure.
Yeah, this Bull Shoals Lake for you.
So what about actually buying this piece of paradise?
Good question. The listing highlights the buying process through onlinelandsales.com, and this is where it gets interesting.
I'm listening.
You can reserve this lot for a down payment as low as $121.
Wait, hold on. You said $121.
Yeah, you heard that right, $121.
That's less than I spend on coffee each month.
I know, right? It's incredibly affordable.
So how does this whole process work? I mean, it can't be that simple, can it?
Well, it actually seems pretty straightforward.
Really?
You make that initial down payment through their secure website, and that reserves the lot while they prepare all the contracts.
So what's the catch?
Well, here's the kicker.
Yeah.
There are no credit checks involved.
No credit checks. Seriously.
Yeah, it seems like onlinelandsales.com is all about making land ownership accessible to everyone, regardless of their credit history.
That's pretty amazing.
Right. So once those contracts are ready, what happens next?
Yeah. What's the timeline look like?
Well, I was picturing weeks of back and forth lawyer stuff,
Right. The usual headache.
But it's actually much faster than that.
Oh, that's good news.
They provide electronic and hard copies of the contract.
Okay.
And get this, you can start using the land as soon as you sign.
So I could technically pitch a tent on my new property the day I sign.
Exactly. They want you to experience that land ownership joy right from the get-go.
I like their style.
Me too.
Go.
But, of course, we need to talk about the financial side of things.
Yeah, the numbers.
Right, we've talked about this crazy low down payment, but what about the rest of the costs?
That's a good point.
So they offer seller financing on this lot,
Seller financing.
meaning they basically act as the bank.
Oh, interesting.
You make your monthly payments directly to them, and they handle the property taxes initially.
Okay.
And to make things even easier, they have this personalized online loan management system.
Oh, that's convenient.
It is. You can track your payments, schedule recurring payments. It's all right there.
So they've really streamlined the whole process from start to finish.
It seems that way, right? They've really thought of everything to make land ownership as hassle-free as possible.
Impressive.
All right, so I'm hooked. I'm ready to buy this land.
I don't blame you.
But let's talk about those down payment options.
Yes, let's break that down.
We know the starting point is $121.
Right?
But are there other options available? And what kind of monthly payments are we looking at?
Well, this is where it gets really fascinating. They've got this really flexible payment structure.
Okay, I like the sound of that.
You can go with that $121 down payment like we talked about. And that gets you a pretty manageable monthly payment of just $61.
$61 a month. Seriously.
That's all it takes.
That's like, what, a couple of fancy coffees?
pretty much.
But okay, what's the catch? What's the interest rate on this seller financing deal?
So the interest rate for this particular lot is 9%.
Okay, 9%.
Now, that might seem a bit higher than your typical loan,
Yeah, that's true.
but you got to remember the bigger picture.
Right.
We're talking about a super smooth process, no credit checks.
Yeah, and immediate access to the land.
Exactly. You can't really put a price tag on that kind of convenience.
True enough. Plus, they mentioned a 10% discount if you pay off the loan early.
Oh, that's right.
So that could balance out the interest rate if you're able to pay it off quickly.
Absolutely. It's a great incentive.
And with seller financing, you're skipping all that bank loan stuff.
Tell me about it.
All those applications, the waiting, the stress.
It's a nightmare.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this could be a game changer for people who might not qualify for a traditional loan.
Oh, for sure. It opens up a lot of possibilities.
And let's not forget about the potential return on investment,
Oh, yeah. Land can be a great investment.
especially in a spot like this near Bull Shoals Lake.
You're right. It's a desirable area.
So you're not just buying land, you're potentially buying a piece of the future.
Exactly. And with the lake drawing visitors year-round, the demand for properties in the area is pretty consistent.
So whether you're dreaming of building your dream home or just holding onto the land as an investment, the potential is there.
Absolutely. It's a smart move no matter how you look at it.
Okay, so we've covered the location, the buying process, and the financial side of things.
We've pretty much hit all the major points.
But I'm still curious about this 0.28-acre lot itself.
What about it?
Is that really enough space to build something substantial?
That's a good question. It really depends on your vision for the property. 0.28 acres might not sound like a lot, but you can still do plenty with it.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Well, you could comfortably fit a cozy cabin, a small workshop, or even a tiny home on that much land.
Oh, I see. So you're not limited to just a tent.
Definitely not. And with the right landscaping and design, you can create a really unique and inviting space, even on a smaller lot.
That makes sense. Plus, you're not just buying the land, you're buying into a lifestyle.
That's a great point. It's about the experience, the connection with nature.
Exactly. Waking up to the sounds of nature, spending your days exploring the lake, enjoying the peace and quiet of the Ozarks.
It's a world away from the hustle and bustle of city life.
I'm already sold.
Me too. But before we get too carried away daydreaming, let's get back to those down payment options.
Yes, let's dive into that. We know it starts at $121,
Right.
but what other possibilities are out there?
Well, this is where onlinelandsales.com really shines. They offer this tiered down payment system.
Oh, tell me more about that.
So basically, you get to pick the option that fits your budget and your goals.
Okay, I like the sound of that. So walk me through the different tiers. How do they affect the monthly payments?
Well, like we said, there's the $121 option.
Right, the entry point.
Exactly. That gives you the lowest monthly payment, but you'll be paying interest for a longer time.
Makes sense. So what's the next step up?
If you want to lower the total interest you pay, you could put down a larger down payment.
Okay, I'm following.
Like, say you put down $500.
Mm-hmm.
That would make your monthly payments much lower, and you'd pay off the loan faster.
So it's a trade-off. More upfront cost, but lower overall interest paid.
Exactly. And they have a whole range of down payment options, all the way up to a big chunk of the purchase price.
So there's really an option for everyone, no matter their budget.
That's the idea. They're trying to make land ownership possible for as many people as they can.
I'm really impressed with how they've made the whole process so accessible and customizable.
Me too. It's refreshing to see a company that's really trying to make a difference.
But before we wrap up this part of the deep dive, I have to ask, are there any downsides to this whole thing?
What do you mean?
I mean, are there any risks to seller financing or buying land through this kind of platform?
That's a smart question. It's always good to think about the potential risks before you jump into anything.
So what are some things our listeners should be aware of? Any red flags?
Well, first and foremost, you always got to read the contract carefully.
Of course, the fine print,
Exactly. Make sure you understand all the terms and conditions before you sign anything.
the interest rate, the loan term, any penalties for late payments, all that good stuff.
Right. And don't just take their word for it. Do your own research on the property itself.
Oh, like what kind of research?
Look into the zoning regulations, make sure there aren't any easements or restrictions on the land.
So you don't run into any surprises later on.
Exactly. And you might even want to consider getting a professional land survey done just to be sure the boundaries are accurate.
So approach this with the same level of caution as you would with a regular real estate purchase. Don't let the easy process fool you.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's all about being an informed buyer and making sure you're comfortable with every step.
Good advice. Well, it feels like we've covered a lot of ground here. We've explored this 0.28-acre lot in Crestwood, dug into the buying process through onlinelandsales.com, and even analyzed the different down payment options.
We've definitely gone deep on this one.
Before we move on, I just want to clarify something from the listing. It mentions an example home, but it's not actually on the lot.
Oh, right. That's just a visual representation.
So it's more like a suggestion to get the creative juices flowing.
Exactly. They're not selling you a house. They're selling you the potential to build your own.
So it's a blank canvas waiting for someone to bring their vision to life.
Precisely. And with the freedom to design and build your own dream home, the possibilities are pretty much endless.
I have to say, I'm starting to understand why people are drawn to the idea of owning a piece of the Ozarks.
It's a special place, and with onlinelandsales.com making it so affordable and accessible, it's no wonder people are jumping at the chance to own a piece of it.
Well, as we wrap up this section, I'm wondering, what would our listeners do with this little slice of Arkansas paradise?
That's the fun part, right? Imagining all the possibilities.
Yeah, it's like a choose-your-own adventure for land ownership.
Exactly.
You got these cozy cabins, lakeside retreats, maybe even going full off-grid.
Why not?
But for someone who's, never bought land before,
Yeah.
it could feel a little overwhelming, right?
Not absolutely.
So what advice would you give to a first-time land buyer? Where do they even start?
Well, I think the most important thing is to really figure out what you want to do with the land.
Okay, so start with a vision.
Yeah, what's your dream? Once you have that, then you can dive into the practical stuff.
So if someone's picturing that lakeside cabin,
Right.
they should be thinking about building permits, zoning, all that.
Exactly. And don't forget about things like utility.
Oh, right, water, electricity, that kind of thing.
Yeah, those can really impact your costs.
And make or break your vision.
For sure.
Well, it's not just about buying the land, it's about all the stuff that comes after.
The ongoing costs, the development, it all adds up.
It's a good reminder for everyone out there.
And hey, it never hurts to talk to the experts.
Oh, you mean like real estate agents, land surveyors?
Yeah, they can give you advice that's specific to your situation.
Great point. So for our listeners who are, really intrigued by this 0.28 acre lot in Crestwood,
Yeah.
or maybe just inspired to explore land ownership in general, what's the best way to get started?
Well, onlinelandsales.com seems like a great place to start.
They do have a ton of properties.
And they make the financing so easy.
Plus, their website has all these details about each listing,
Maps, photos, even drone footage. It's pretty cool.
so you can really get a feel for the land before you commit.
Exactly. No surprises.
And they have that platform to manage your payments, track your loan, all that.
Yeah, they've really thought of everything.
It's pretty impressive. They've taken a lot of the guesswork out of land ownership.
It made it more accessible for everyone, which is awesome.
I agree. Well, it sounds like onlinelandsales.com is empowering a whole new generation of landowners.
Yeah, they're making dreams a reality.
Well said.
Yeah.
And on that note of possibility and maybe, a little bit of Ozark magic,
Little bit.
we'll wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and happy land hunting.